And welcome to the Business Spotlight. It's Patrick Dewar. My guest today is Elizabeth Naylor. Elizabeth is a health and nutrition expert with an alphabet soup after her name is one way to describe it. She has so much education that literally, in my opinion, gives so much value to all of her clients. As we get into this segment, I really want to look at, we've talked about how you've become a master in this area, in my opinion. You now are serving so many people. What are you doing to create the success you're having?
Well, when I first started, Patrick, in 2006, I started with a philosophy and an understanding that most disease, all disease really, almost all disease, stems from toxicity, malnutrition, and stress. And the three of those things really incorporate all that needs to be done when we think about healthcare. When we think about authentic healthcare, where we're working for people to stay healthy, to be healthy, and not necessarily considering curing disease, thinking about avoiding disease, then we're talking about toxicity, malnutrition, and stress. And so I'll give you a few examples. You know, when I started with, just recently actually, I had a client in, she brought me her blood work. She was having a multitude of problems, but she brought me her blood work because she was diagnosed with hypothyroid. We took a look at it, and this is an example about malnutrition. You think in the United States we are quite overfed. We have more calories and more caloric intake as a population, almost 1.5 times what we need. But we are very much undernourished. And so I looked at her blood work and I said, well, really your problem is that you're not converting this hormone, and it requires selenium, and it just means you're not getting that in your diet. And so we talked about Brazil nuts. Do you know if you eat one Brazil nut a day, it's like a selenium supplement? And it really, in a lot of cases, has just completely fixed people's thyroid problems. There are other places you can get it if you don't, in food, if you don't particularly like Brazil nuts. But really, that's a vitamin E, garlic nutrient that's found in those foods. And you can also take whole food supplements. But taking selenium by itself, not my favorite choice. I really prefer to work with food.
Well, I've heard that selenium is also good for things like memory and some of the other things that have to do with your brain.
Right.
But I didn't know that about thyroid. Since I take some thyroid stuff, it's probably good to know that.
Yeah, it's great. And you know, it's just an example of how when we're missing minerals, minerals are activators of hormones in our body.
I didn't know that.
And when we're missing them, in fact, some scientists they're feeling they're so close to hormones, it's hard to tell the difference. But they are activators of hormones in our body. And so the hormones that we have don't work correctly if we're malnourished.
Very good.
Another client just 2 weeks ago came in with terrible arthritic symptoms, and we were talking. She's a young woman. She'd been to several specialists and did not really want to take those medications. Some of them she'd tried and they hadn't helped, but it was really a lifestyle issue of she's young, she wants to have children, they're not really safe to take. And so we talked through several things and decided, well, a great place to start is the 21-day purification program. And so she started that program. She called me on day 5 and said, I woke up this morning with no pain in my hands. Now, I don't always get those kinds of results, but I was just thrilled to hear that. And I said, well, that's fabulous. Let's see how you do. Day 21, still no pain. And so in her case, a lot of that could be toxicity, a lot of that of things that we don't even necessarily know. But when you feed your body the right things for your liver to function better, all of a sudden you take care of a lot of problems.
Well, I've heard that so much of health can be taken back to things that have to do with clean blood, oxygen-rich system. You know, I mean, I've heard the statement that sickness thrives in an oxygen-poor environment.
Yes.
And so, raise your oxygen, you'll actually raise a level of your health. Is that fairly accurate?
Well, it's certainly accurate that if you're anemic, you will have a very difficult time being healthy, or even borderline anemic, and a lot of people do suffer with that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you begin the process with people, is there a starting point for people that you would recommend? What would you like them to,
Well, a starting point for most people is just to have a conversation with me. You know, to call 10 to 15 minutes conversation about where are you, what are your issues, and then from that point, usually we can determine what program would be the best place for them to start. People who want to know more about me, go to my website, ebenezerwellness.com, and sign up for the newsletter. That's really the key to getting into understanding more about my practice, understanding more about what we're doing, and how we might be able to support your health goals.
Well, and you're a prolific writer. I mean, there are a lot of articles already out there on ebenezerwellness.com where they could just click on and begin to search for areas that, or information that might help them in the beginning. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
I know that so I recommend that you guys do that. You get with ebenezerwellness.com, check out the newsletter, sign up for it. It's free, so just do it. I mean, the fact is that we're in a time period where health and nutrition are, well, they're rare commodities, and Elizabeth has some real solutions for you. Go to ebenezerwellness.com, sign up, and stick around for the next couple of segments here, because we've got more to come with helping you get healthier with Ebenezer Wellness on the Business Spotlight. We'll be right back.